Hey guys, I'm BJ IE from the #1 music channel in the Philippines, Mix, and welcome to this MYXclusive interview with a duo. They are an indie pop duo from Los Angeles right now. Before they were in New York, which is what my t-shirt says right now.
Love it.
Love it. I specifically wore this for this. And they also have music videos out. I'm not sure why this is the first time we've heard of them, but we are gonna get to know them and their music more. Please welcome to their first ever MYXclusive interview, Justin and Slavo of Fly by Midnight. Woohoo!
Hi everyone. Yeah, thank you. That was a great intro. Wow. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny hearing New York because yeah, Fly by Midnight was born in New York, and then we just moved out to LA. What, a year?
It's been a year, yeah.
Yeah, so it feels weird to realize we're in LA. You know.
So, how many years were you working together in New York?
So Justin was born and raised in Staten Island, New York. I met him there probably 7 years ago, and we started working maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, not too long ago, but yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so before we delve into that, like how you guys were formed as Fly by Midnight, let's talk about how this interview happened at first. So for everyone watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now, this is quite a funny story because I got an email from Justin, I think a few weeks back. Yeah, he introduced himself and I'm like, okay, cool. Let me check this out. And then now they're like one of my favorite artists now. I mean, I can't believe I've been living without your music. I love it. So please tell us, Justin, how you were able to find Mix.
You know, I feel like it's really like the mantra of Fly by Midnight to reach out to people. And like we were saying before we just went live, you know, the Philippines market and new fans internationally has been something that has intrigued us for a while now. And quite recently, we've been more intrigued by it and wanted to reach more fans. And I came across one of your amazing interview videos. And I was like, you know what? Let me just shoot you an email and be like, hey, we love you and we want you to interview us. And that was it. And here we are. And that's the beauty of the industry today, right? Everyone's an email away. So.
Exactly. And thank you, because in your email, you let me hear your upcoming single, even before it was released. It's going to be released in a few hours here in the Philippines, I believe, March 26th. So that's well, it's March 26th now here. So yes, we can expect that today. But thank you so much for giving me a preview as well of the music video. But before that, okay, let's talk about this. We actually got to talk about you. I'm not sure if you're aware of this when we guested Great, Good, Fine, Okay. Who are your friends? And we talked about Progress. And then they actually mentioned you guys before that they co-wrote it with you.
Yep.
Yeah, so back in New York when we were still living there, right? I think a year or two ago, we met up with them in their Brooklyn apartment, which I think they got rid of. I don't know if you guys talked about that, but we wrote in their it was about the same size as room, a little apartment studio space, and wrote the song Progress. And a year later, they hit us up. We're like, hey, we're going to release the song. We're like, great, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we're here for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we've been such fans of their project for a long time, and you know, when we had that session, we were just talking about how we've admired each other's projects. It's kind of like recently we wrote with the other duo, Joan. And it's like to be able to work with these duos and we all have this mutual admiration for each other. A lot of people would think there's competitiveness, but it's all love. We have group chats and we're just hanging around and loving each other's music. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the music industry really is just a small world. Actually, Joan was also on our show like just recently. So it's nice to have you guys here and to get to know you. So okay, let's start it. Take us to a trip down memory lane. You said you guys met 7 years ago. How did that happen?
So I'm from Florida originally, and
Mm-hmm.
my family's from New York, Staten Island, actually, where Justin's from. There, my parents were born and raised there, and so I moved out of college. I did a year and ended up just saying that's not for me, and I moved to New York to do a music program where Justin's was living, and we met at a mutual studio. But before that, he was doing stuff on his own, and I was doing stuff on my own, and it just kind of made sense, I guess.
Yeah, we had
And
one
Slavo,
session.
yeah,
Yeah.
may I know like what course you took in college?
I
Like
was
for that
going. It
first
was
year?
actually I was a Bachelor of Science, but they had like a small music program, a very small music program at the school. And I really went for football. I grew up playing football my whole life, and
Ooh.
I thought that was going to be my path. And in typical like High School Musical fashion, I was like, this isn't for me, and I wanted to do music. And instead of dance, I did music. So
I know, instead of basketball, it was football and
yep, it was very close,
okay.
very similar story.
That's
Mhm.
great.
All right. Okay, Justin, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, we had one session together, and we just bonded like brothers. I think it was funny when I approached Slavo about the idea of starting a duo together. For me, I like knew it was going to work, and it was going to be a long-term thing, and maybe we'll be stuck with each other for the rest of our lives. And I think it's very fly by midnight of us for Slavo to be like, sure, and not really know what he was getting himself into. And I like kind of
Mhm.
knew that years later we'd be making a living and having fans all over. So it's just a cool thing to reflect on. I guess one session kind of changed everything. Yeah.
I'll say the coolest thing about it too, when we met each other, I was just like a producer songwriter. He was doing the solo project and he was a writer, and we got put together just to write some songs for his project. And it was very organic. We kind of realized quickly that we were like brothers. I mean, we got along really well, and we were able to joke about stuff. And after like 3 sessions of doing different songs, we wrote this one song for what was supposed to be his solo project. And I think the story that he tells is that I sang something. He's like, I didn't even realize you sang, and so that kind of sparked something in his mind, I guess, to try to make it like a thing. And here we are.
And it's so cool, like having someone to work with, and it's the same for like Great Good and all these duos. I'm sure they preach the same thing, but like every day we're working together. We're in like a back house here, and you get to hang out with your best friend all the time and write music. It's quite unreal. Yeah.
Yes, it must be like a really memorable experience. Years from now, I'm sure you'd be smiling at this like, wow, I can't believe we did all this. Now, when was like the day when you guys finally proclaimed yourself as a duo, as Fly By Midnight? Like, do you remember like when you guys decided to make it official?
It must have been because that song that I was referring to before is a song called Brooklyn. We did a whole music video for everything, and I think when we did that song and released it, maybe like a month before that, we must have said that we were Fly By Midnight, right? There's like a whole announcement.
Yeah, we did this whole, which is probably a very embarrassing photo, our first photo we posted together. And and we just went super hard for the first song, full music video. And the reception of it, I think, was what propelled us to keep doing it, because it was it moved so quickly. And my solo project fans and our circles were just like, you guys got to keep doing this. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have still been doing it, which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
Yes, it got really good reception. But let's talk about the song. The name of the group, Fly By Midnight. Like, where did it come from? Why did you guys choose that name?
I wish it was a cooler story, but it really was like us just having this idea that we're a duo that just works into late hours of the night, right? So we're up till usually 1 a.m., 2 a.m. working on stuff. And the idea of Fly By Night was the first name that we came up with. And we were doing research on it and found out that it was a popular Rush song. So we're like, all right, how can we make it a little different? And someone we were working with at the time had suggested that we just add midnight to it instead of just night. And we're like, oh, it has a nice little ring to it. It has a better cadence, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had tried a handful of other names that were quite cheesier. And
like what? Come on, just tell us.
We played a game where it was like, all right, just on the count of 3, just throw out one syllable word. And I think we ended up with one that was called Full Grown. And we were like, that's I don't even know how we thought of that.
And then there was one where, what's the highway you take from Florida to New York? At least
95, yeah.
Like on 95, but then we sound like a country duo. It was just it was quite. I'll say that Fly By Midnight, it very much describes us, because what it's, you said it's 9 a.m. by you, or yeah,
yes, it is.
It was 9 a.m. by us, you would have a very different version of us.
We'd
right
be
now.
sleeping right now.
Yeah, so I think midnight quite describes us well. Yeah.
I think that's true for like many artists, you know. Most of them are zombies in the morning, or not even alive. They're vampires. They're scared of the sun. But
definitely, that's us.
Yes, this is like the perfect situation. You know, it's 6 p.m. there. Okay, now let's talk about how you guys got to where you are right now. So you guys started out 7 years or 6 years ago as Fly By Midnight. So what happened since then? Like, what was like the process of you reaching this point?
I mean, it's a long story.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll try to condense it. But
there's just been, I mean, it's so funny. We call them like tiny victories that have added up in our career. And we're grateful to say there's been a lot, you know, like I think. I
was going to say the first thing, I mean, we started on YouTube. That was, you know, our first platform. I mean, we still obviously use YouTube to this day, but we just did a bunch of covers, played that whole game for a while. And once we realized that that really wasn't the thing anymore, we kind of, you know, switched lanes, and we realized that Spotify was up and coming. It was, you know, the new platform. And so we found ways to gear that music towards Spotify. And then over time, you know, we wanted to do more original music instead of covers. So we completely cut out covers, really dedicated ourselves to writing songs that were, you know, all original. And it was a little bit of a learning curve. And I think, you know, it took us some time, but eventually we're at the point now where we haven't done covers for YouTube or Spotify or anything like that for a long time. So
yeah, and it's been like kind of like what Slava was saying, just planting seeds in all these different worlds, you know, starting off on YouTube, going to Spotify, and then wanting to play live shows. And then we started headlining shows in New York and LA, and yeah, it's just been like a very interesting experience. Every song that comes out, we're growing the castle, and there have been certain songs that we didn't expect to do as well as they have, and it's kind of it's very much changed the trajectory of our career. You know, there's like, and I'm sure a lot of other artists feel this way, but sometimes the songs you don't expect to are the ones that kind of go. And for us, there have been a couple that come to mind. One being Lovely, that just was a song that, you know, did quite well, and then we re-released it with Betty Who, and it was just like, and it continues to grow and continues to have a life of its own, and it's changed our lives. Yeah. A
big part of our narrative too is just that, you know, maybe 3 years ago or so, we really started picking up writing and producing for other artists. And that's been a huge, you know, something that's helped us a lot in, you know, getting to where we are now too. Just working with different people, it helps us with networking and getting different relationships in the music industry that, you know, they're all friends of ours now. But one of those things too back then where we weren't doing it, and it was, you know, definitely harder to you know, be involved in the music industry like we are now.
And it's like such an interesting thing, because even, I don't know, the past 2 days have felt like months, because there's so many different things happening. But even as writers, you know, like we recently signed with Prescription Publishing, which is like a super dope publisher out here in the States. And yeah, just like the artists we're writing for and the songs coming out for these artists, like we can't say anything yet, but it's really exciting, because like most people don't know that Fly By Midnight also does that. So it's like a whole nother passion project. Yeah.
I know. And even when, you know, I scanned your YouTube account, you know, you have a lot of collaborations over there with official music videos as well. But right now, let's talk about your latest one, which is just about to be released. Let's talk about When She's Dancing. So tell us about the song first.
It's really exciting. I mean, it's a new wave for us. You know, we've always prided ourselves in you know, evolving our sound and always being eclectic in how we do music. And this one is probably the most organic we've ever gone. The storytelling in it's really cool. And it's funny, this song we wrote probably 1.5 years ago.
Before COVID, yeah.
Before COVID even happened. And it's taken on such a different meaning now with, you know, the past year that we've had. But it's one of those things where we have so much music and we've written so much stuff that to think that song that we wrote 1.5 years ago is what's coming out tonight it's such a funny thing for us.
Yeah, and like Slavo said, the song, listening to it now feels so different, because
exactly
it's really crazy, and it's like it was a song that when we wrote it at the time, it felt almost too organic for what we were doing. And then I don't know, maybe a month or ago, you were like, hey, I was listening to it, and it feels right now. And I remember loving it. So we pulled it up, and we had only written half of it, so we finished writing the other half. And I just love what it means. You know, it's about admiring someone that it is just unaware of anything wrong around them. And it's like this fearless person, and it's just such a cool picturesque moment of, you know, she's dancing on her bed while the world's on fire. You know, it's like such a cool contrast. And I mean, I've known people like that are just so optimistic. It's almost nauseating.
Yeah, I was gonna say envious. You know, sometimes you get in your head about things, and you know, it's cool to be able to block stuff out.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say contagious, but then, but you said you feel nauseous. So okay, it's not
almost
contagious.
like yeah, you're so envious that it's almost a little bit sad that you're not, because I feel like especially the newer stuff we wrote in the second half of the song is like there's so much stress and pressure on you that you look at this person, you're like, wow, how are they doing this? How are they blocking all this out? Yeah.
Okay, so the first half was written pre-2020, and then the second half was during. Oh, all right. I mean, during this whole pandemic. But I was gonna ask when it was written, because you know the lines are really relevant. Like everything is falling apart, and you know it's resonating to each and every listener. I'm sure when they hear it. So now let's talk about the music video for this. I was expecting to see a bed. Because you know she's dancing on her bed, and then there's a beautiful girl dancing right in front of you guys while you guys are performing. So please tell us how this was shot. What's the concept of the music video?
That's funny. Fly by Midnight, it wouldn't be a music video if we didn't do something that everyone didn't expect.
Yeah, right. It's funny enough. We just filmed that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
wow.
is crazy. Like we direct all of our own videos. Slavo edits all of them. So things move very quickly in Fly by Midnight's world. And funny enough, we were filming that with the beautiful dancer you described, Addison, and we were on a break in the bathroom, and I was like, you know, we should have had a bed in the video.
Funny enough, not intentional, but if you look closely enough, behind the car there is a bed.
There is a bed.
So
yeah.
Oh,
it's very, very subtle though, very subtle. But no, the reason we did that is a little bit of an Easter egg. But the next video we have, or the next song that comes out after this, we essentially have this idea where we're going to be driving in that same car and singing words to it. So we wanted like this world where they were kind of connected, because the songs feel like they're very similar in style, and we've never really done anything like that before. So we thought it was cool.
Yeah, and
we should have used the bed.
Yeah, and Addison will be in the next video as well. And it's like, yeah, it's like a fun little connected universe. We filmed both videos in one day, which is a very long day. And it's just a really fun. It's a quite simple video compared to some of our others. It really focuses on Addison dancing and us performing, and almost kind of, it feels very ethereal and very dreamlike, the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I love it. I'm sure all your Filipino fans will love it when it comes out. Again, guys, that's today, March 26th. Now, I want to talk about one of your latest releases as well on your YouTube account, the I Miss New York acoustic demo. I also love it so much. Like, you know, Filipinos love, how do I say it? Like really vulnerable lyrics. We actually have a term for it. It's called hugot lyrics. Hugot's like pulling your heartstrings.
Yeah.
And I specifically was like going berserk at the lyric that said, when I say I miss you, when I say I miss New York, it means I miss you. So can you please tell us about this song?
Funny enough, you bring that up. The reason that When She's Dancing even came back into our release idea was because I thought it would have been cool to do an acoustic demo version of it for YouTube, because there's two other videos similar to the one you're speaking about, I Miss New York, that are like this broken down, like almost stripped version of these songs that we haven't released. And so I originally brought that up to Justin, saying, hey, we should do When She's Dancing as one of those, because it feels like an emotional, cool, broken down song. And then it just evolved, and we were excited to release it. But Yeah, I Miss New York. That was one that we wrote with the same writers of the song Lovely, actually. So maybe there's a reason why I feel so.
Yeah, and so we wrote with Brett Truitt, who's an amazing writer in Nashville, and we're all signed to the same publishing company
And
now.
Brigida too.
And we wrote that with Brigida too.
Writers,
oh
yeah.
wow. So both siblings that we wrote Lovely with, and it was on Zoom. I think that was in COVID.
Yeah, that was during COVID.
It was maybe the beginning, and it's just so funny. We write so much music that the fact that we were able to put that out as an acoustic demo and maybe an actual release one day is like, it's just so exciting for us. I love that song, and I love what it represents, because New York is a very special part of us, and quite often we feel like there is a piece of us still there.
To be honest, I think that's more of like a song for our friends. It sounds kind of weird to say, but all our friends still live back home, and it's really like one of those. There's a 975 has a song called Guys where he kind of admires his friends, and I don't know if that inspired it at all, but it's a very similar idea where, you know, all those things we said, going out to Brooklyn dives and stuff like that, that's stuff we used to do with our friends, and we're not really able to do that. Pandemic aside, like, you know, we're so far from them now, and yeah, it's just one of those songs. So shout out to our boys.
Yeah.
If you're watching, hello. But we really feel like how much you love New York. I mean, you have Brooklyn, you have I Miss New York. I won't be surprised if you have another song about New York.
We had an album that came out. It wasn't really an album, more a collection called New York Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep,
We're gonna be checking that out as well. I wish we can talk about each of your songs, but of course, you know, you have a lot, as you said. But now, since you've mentioned the 1975, are there other artists that you'd like to collaborate with? Like, let's say sky's the limit. They'd immediately say yes to you. Who would be at the top of your list?
Yeah,
That's tough.
I would definitely say George and Matt from the 1975. I feel like they're just always doing quite unique stuff, and that's kind of what we strive for. Like Slava was saying, eclecticness.
Yeah, I mean, we're big fans of John Bellion. He's also a New York guy. So John Bellion maybe, and Maroon 5, Charlie Puth. I mean, you name it, they're all super talented.
Yeah. I think also like a bit more retro is like, I think Paul McCartney would just be amazing to be in a writing room with.
There's a whole list of female artists too we'd love to work with.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, the
Ariana Grande, obviously, she's the best.
I think Casey Musgraves is
from the countryside,
phenomenal as well. I mean, we listen to so much music. It's tough to.
So, I don't know. We just gave you a bunch.
Yeah, we'll just list every artist in the industry. Yeah.
From A to Z.
Okay, now what else can your Filipino fans expect from you for the rest of 2021? You mentioned you have a lot in your drawer there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of music coming. So we just got out of a label deal a couple months ago. So we're kind of in this amazing space now where we can release 2 songs a month if we wanted to. So I think we're debating on that. And there's a domestic tour that we're going to be announcing really soon. But like we were saying to you before we went live, we had a call this morning only about the Philippines and kind of how, number one, how we could get out there to perform, but also how we can just give a more personal connection with our fans there. And we hope to make that happen this year.
Yeah.
Nice. Can you like give us an idea what you're gonna do in the Philippines, like what the call was about?
Yeah, specifically for actually the song Lovely we're talking about, you know, we see that doing so well here that, you know, we figured why not try to push to, you know, territories that are showing us love for other songs and see how it does. And yeah, just a lot of exclusive content, I guess you could say.
For sure. And like what was the phrase you said for emotional songs?
Who got?
Yeah. So that was discussed this morning, that Lovely being just a very sentimental feeling song has resonated in some of these territories. And like Slavo said, just giving, whether it's a new sort of video for Lovely for our Filipino fans and just something like that, because the song is just like, it's like I said, it's one that's changed our lives here, and we'd like it to change our lives everywhere in the world. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Lovely is a great choice. But as you know, as someone from the Philippines who grew up here, I also loved I Miss New York. I swear, guys, you should release it here as well. And of course, when she's dancing, I've heard a number of your songs already, and I can't wait to hear more, especially what you said, New York Nostalgia. I'll be checking that out later on. But Really, you have great songs, guys. Thank you for reaching out to us, and I hope you get to fly here to the Philippines when everything subsides. But for now, what is your message to everyone watching, your Filipino fans?
We love you guys. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in, that we could be in LA making music and be able to put it out and reach fans all over the world and in the Philippines. So we're grateful to be able to do what we do every day, and it's only because of your support, right?
Yeah, we'll keep making music if you guys keep listening to it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a pretty great deal. How about for those who might just be getting to know you for the first time right now through this interview? What is your message to them? Where can they follow you online?
Yeah, it's Fly by Midnight across the board. Welcome. Nice to meet you. We're super excited for you guys to hear our stuff. And yeah, hopefully we can talk more. And like we said before, we're trying to get out to the Philippines to do a show. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be there. And yeah, welcome.
And like we said before, there's a lot of music of ours that's available. We have how many records? 3?
I think 3.
Yeah, 3 records. And there is an album coming as well. So join the party, come hang out. And we have a Discord where we're hanging out with our fans and we're talking all day. So we've really tried to create this personal relationship and look forward to connecting with more.
Is there a platform in the Philippines that we should be aware of that we can connect with people over there more?
Yes, we have a local live streaming app. It's called Kumu. So basically, it's like TikTok or Instagram, but it's all live stream, and Filipinos are there, even Filipinos from different countries. They connect there, and you actually get to earn there because there are diamonds. Like, it's basically people give you gifts, and then those gifts, there's those virtual gifts turn into diamonds, and then those diamonds turn into cash. So like,
diamonds, so.
Filipinos are
there we go.
Filipinos are big there. Yes,
we'll make an account.
Love it.
You sold us on it. Yeah.
Yes, it's Kumu, Kumu. I'm not sure if it's available like where I know it is. Yeah, we have Filipinos from different parts of the world going live there, so you can definitely go live there as well. So
cool.
Okay. So thank you so much, Justin and Slavo, again for emailing me and for introducing me to your music, and in turn introducing the Philippines as well to your music. I'm sure your Filipino fans would love to have you here, but until then, we're gonna be waiting for When She's Dancing. In a few hours, it's gonna be released to the world. I can't wait for a lot of Filipinos to listen to it and the whole world to listen to it as well. So guys, do follow them on their socials, Fly by Midnight everywhere, and we hope we can get to play your music video on our channel. And fans can vote for it to enter our charts. So when it does come out, guys, vote for it on our official website, mixph.com, wherever you are in the world. But that's it for this MYXclusive interview. Thank you so much, Justin and Slavo, for joining us for this MYXclusive interview. Once again, I'm VJ Ai from the #1 music channel in the Philippines, Mix. Bye!